Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're really digging into Australia's electric vehicle market. It's changing fast.
It really is.
Your sources show a really dynamic picture. We're talking over 70 EV models available now.
That's right. From about 30 different brands, it puts Australia quite high up globally, actually, for EV choice.
Yeah, it's definitely moved beyond just, one big name dominating everything.
Exactly. And that's what's so interesting. The sources you've gathered really point to this rapid evolution, giving consumers way more options.
So our mission today is to unpack why this is happening, right? What are the key factors? And what does it all mean for you, the listener?
Precisely. Let's get into it.
Okay, so first up, market diversity. One factor seems to be that Australia doesn't have its own domestic car manufacturing anymore.
That's a really significant point. It basically created an open field, didn't it?
Yeah, like the doors were wide open for global players.
Especially for new entrants. And your sources specifically mention the impact of Chinese manufacturers like BYD.
Right. Their presence seems quite strong already.
It is. That lack of sort of legacy protection means companies like BYD could come in and compete pretty effectively, pretty quickly, offer some compelling cars.
And they're definitely competing on price. I mean, look at the examples. BYD's Atto 3 SUV, what was it? Around $44,500.
$499, yeah. With a decent 420-kilometer range.
Okay. And the Seal sedan?
That one's also aggressive, around the $50,000 mark, giving you about 460-kilometer range.
Wow, that kind of pricing has to make waves.
Oh, absolutely. And it has. What's really telling, and your sources back this up, is the effect on established brands.
Like Tesla.
Exactly. Look at the Model 3. Its price dropped significantly.
They go from nearly $70,000 down to mid-50s.
Yeah, from $69,300 down to $54,900. That's direct competition, pushing prices down for everyone. A real win for potential buyers.
Okay, so the cars are getting more competitive.
Yeah.
But what about actually using them? The practical side. Infrastructure.
That's improving too. Your sources mention the expansion of the charging network.
And this CCS2 compatibility thing.
Correct. CCS2 is becoming the common standard there. That makes a huge difference.
And so?
Well, it just means more chargers work with more cars. Less confusion, easier to find a spot when you need one, no matter the network. It removes a barrier.
Right. So better chargers, plus the cars themselves are improving. Like range and stuff.
Yes, exactly. We're seeing better range across the board. Driving dynamics are improving. Warranties are getting better too. It all adds up to a much more attractive proposition than, say, a few years ago.
Okay, makes sense. Technology and price are moving targets. But what about people's attitudes? Are Australians warming up to EVs?
It seems so, but it's a bit mixed, according to your sources. There's definitely growing interest.
Why is that?
Well, the environmental benefits are a factor. Plus, people are realizing the lower running costs can save them money. That comes through in the Car Expert source.
But there are still concerns.
There are, yeah. Autosopedia points out that things like the upfront cost, worries about finding chargers easily, especially on long trips, and battery life, those haven't completely disappeared for everyone. Still hurdles.
Okay, so some hesitation remains. But the actual sales numbers, they tell a pretty strong story, don't they?
They really do. That data point is quite stark.
What was it? EVs were 8.3% of new cars sold in the first quarter this year.
Yes, 8.3%. And maybe more importantly, that figure represents a huge jump from the previous year.
46% increase, roughly.
46.4% year-over-year growth. That's not just early adopters anymore. That's significant momentum. It shows EVs are becoming a mainstream consideration.
Right. So let's kind of wrap this part up. Australia's EV market is, it's booming with choices.
Definitely. Thanks to that open market and these competitive new players shaking things up.
And that competition. It's good news for you, the buyer. Lower prices, better tech.
Absolutely. But as we noted, some barriers like charging anxiety and cost are still there for some people.
Yet despite that, the sales growth is undeniable. A really strong upward trend towards electric.
It's a fascinating mix. Market forces, tech improvements, changing attitudes, all pushing things forward.
Okay, so looking ahead, as this market keeps growing, keeps diversifying, what do you think is the next big hurdle? Especially for a country as, vast and spread out as Australia, getting EVs truly everywhere.
That's the big question, isn't it? Reaching full adoption across such diverse geography.
Definitely something for you to think about. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.